The Fichtelberg railway connects with the standard gauge line at Kranchtal and runs just over 17 kilometres uphill to Oberweissenthal, the highest town in Germany at 893 metres above sea level. That's almost 3,000 feet. The journey to Kranchtal involves a 50-minute journey from Dresden on an RE3 Middle Germany regional train to Floa. At Floa, change to a service RB80 for a 57-minute journey to Kranchtal on board a Siemens D0 unit class 642 introduced in the year 2000. The route of the Fichtelbergbahn twists and turns up gradients as steep as 3%, 1 in 30, to reach the Ore Mountains. There's just enough time to photograph out-of-use loco number 1786, built in the mid-1950s, before our journey begins. All the houses and large gardens were very well maintained. The ruling gradient is 2.5%, 1 in 40, and the steeper sections are 3%, 1 in 30. Firing was taking place almost constantly on the lower sections of the line. The last series of locos had slightly enlarged fireboxes so that they could burn brown coal, although this is no longer used. Even though the trees grew very close to the line, there was no sign of fire damage. Almost halfway along the line, videoing from the left-hand side of the train was spoilt by the telegraph poles, something you don't often see today. These are the passing loops and sidings that remain at Hammer Huntersweissenthal, where up to 30 wagons of stone were dispatched from the quarry. The rocks were rich in uranium and was mined from the 1930s until East Germany gained independence from the Soviet Union. The gradient eases considerably towards the end of the line where we cross the Huntenbachtal viaduct. We pass the former main workshop. It's now a store for parts, and we arrive at the spacious terminus of Oberweissenthal. The extensive track layouts evolved to cope with the level of traffic during the communist era, when road transport was minimal and when very extensive industry supported a much greater population than today. The policy of the Saxon state government is that the railway should be preserved as far as possible in the original state, making them living historical monuments. As the locomotive ran back to the shed, the fireman used the blowdown valve to clear the boiler of sediment. This was the first time I'd ever seen this happen in Europe. The locomotive was number 991785, the predecessor to the out-of-use locomotive we had seen briefly at the start of our journey in Kranzal. After taking water, the locomotive set back and then ran forward to rejoin its train, ready for the next journey to Kranzal. Here the 1413 hours train departs over the Fichtelbergbahn viaduct on its journey to Kranzal. We were given a tour of the very interesting workshop and were told that the Fichtelberg Railway was part of a consortium of 3 narrow gauge railways, the other 2 being the Fichtelbergbahn Railway and the Fichtelbergbahn Railway. The workshop was in Aladdin's cave of K57 locomotives, of both the earlier 1929 to 33 built locos and of the later batch built between 1952 and 56. We watched the arrival of a train as it passed over the main structural feature of the railway, the Fichtelberg viaduct, 110 metres long and 23 metres high steel viaduct. The last down train of the day on which we travelled back to Kranzal. The Old Mountains are considered to be geologically one of the most thoroughly studied areas of the world. Mineralogically, they are a treasure chest and contain the following minerals: the last of these is probably the most valuable. The area is now a major winter sports location. The town of Oberwiesenthal has 140 days in the year when frost is recorded.